padding behind me, the steps uneven because of his knee. The sound followed me, proud and uncomplaining as a hound at my heels, through the clustered living places of the kindred and downstream past the mill among its alder trees, and the smithy where Lorban, my father's smith, was at work on an axe-head, and in through the monastery orchard where the brown-robed brothers were busy among the bee-skeps under the apple-trees, to the gate of the monastery itself. I was well used to the huddle of farm buildings and thatched sleeping bothies about the small wattled church, and usually I would have stopped for a word with Brother Yorwin, who was lime-washing the granary wall, or to scratch the back of the prior's breeding sow, who lay in a sunny patch surrounded by 11 contented piglets. But that day I had no thought but to get what I had come for over and done with as quickly as might be, and I headed straight through without pausing for the bothy on the far side, where Brother Pebble, the infirmerer, brewed his evil-smelling salves and potions and doctored the hurts and sicknesses of all the people of the valley. He was there now, boiling something over a small bright charcoal fire at the end of the crowded and brown-shadowed workplace. Whatever it was, it must have been at a critical stage, for he did not even look up as we came in through the low doorway, only jerked his head towards the bench just inside. I flung myself down on it, groaning inwardly for my wasted name-day, and would have left my new body-servant standing, but the thought came to me that it might not be a good idea, not on that knee. It might not help the healing, and the sooner it healed, the sooner he would cease being a nuisance and begin to be of some use. "Sit," I said, and jerked a thumb at the other end of the bench. He sat, sticking his left leg awkwardly out in front of him, and stared through the doorway to where the first swallows were darting and swooping in the sunshine. The brew in the pot came to the boil, and Brother Pebble threw in broad-leaved herbs from the pile beside him. There was a hiss like fiery serpents, and another smell was added to the heady reek of spices and simples that already filled the place, and the pot went off the boil. Brother Pebble brought it up again 3 times very slowly, then drew it to the side of the fire. "It can see to itself for a while now," he said, and looked up for the first time. "God's greeting to you, my son, and who is this that you bring with you?" "My new servant," I told him. "My father handed him over to me this morning, but he has some kind of hurt on his knee, and so I bring him to you." The infirmerer nodded. "So, then, let us be looking what is to be done." He came out from his crowding shadows and squatted down beside the boy and began to loosen the knot of the clumsy bandages. He was a snub-faced little man with not much more shape to him than an egg, but he had the kind of hands that should belong to a harper, and he used them just as surely as he loosed the stained and stiffened rags. "What name do they call you by?" he asked, seeming to have forgotten me entirely. "Conn," said the brown boy, sounding as though his mouth were dry. And I looked round at him, somehow surprised. I'd been so taken up with disappointment at being given a body-servant when I wanted a hound pup that I had never even thought about him having a name, let alone thought to ask it. Brother Pebble said, "Then, Conn, sit very still, and I will hurt you as little as may be," and he began to ease back the makeshift bandage. I had got up so as not to be in his way, but I stood watching, somehow not able to look away, and I saw the crusts and the angry hole and the surrounding pale puffiness of an old abscess that had maybe started to heal and then broken down again, and my belly cringed a little. "How did this come about?" Brother Pebble asked. "A mule kicked me." The dryness and the careful levelness were still in Conn's voice. "So, and how long ago?" 2 months, maybe 3. "That is too long. But now we will start the mending." The little man got up, rubbing his own knees. Like a lot of the older brethren, he had pains in them when there was rain about, too much kneeling, I suppose, and hobbled away into the shadows beyond the brazier and began to gather up things that lurked there. In a while he came back with fresh bandage linen and water from the big crock in the corner, and squatting down again began to bathe the place. When the bathing was over, he poured in a few drops of yellowish liquid from a small, sinister-looking flask. Conn drew in his breath through shut teeth.